my name is Angel. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome to the first of two vlogs for my Ominous October readathon. So this will be days 1 to 3. Before we get into the day 1 reading vlog, I just wanted to do a quick little intro and let you guys know what my official TBR for Ominous October is. So looking at the prompts, my book that has occult elements, I have chosen Cackle by Rachel Harrison. This is a witchy book, and witchy things are occult things. So I'm very excited for this one. I love Rachel Harrison. It's taken me way too long to read this, and I absolutely love this cover. I think both the covers are great, but I really like there's something about this one that just speaks to me with like the neon green and then the like spider webs on the cup. So that is my first book on my TBR for Ominous October. Then to read a book that takes place on or around Halloween. Of course, I am reading All Hallows by Christopher Golden. I'm very excited for this one. For a horror novella, I originally had chosen to read Hot Singles in Your Area by Jordan Shibley. This is a arc that I had on NetGalley, but for reasons that you'll come to know in the vlog because I talk about it, I was not able to read that one. So instead, for my horror novella, I will be reading To Be Devoured by Sarah Tantlinger. Then I doubled up on prompts. I will be reading The Vile Thing We Created by Robert Piatone for a book that has been on my TBR longer than a year, and a book that is 400 plus pages long. Then into the bonus TBR to read a nonfiction about horror, I'm going to pick up Behind the Horror, True Stories That Inspired Horror Movies by Dr. Lee Meller. I don't really know exactly. I mean, I guess the title really tells you about what's going on, but I'm really excited for this. I've seen a few people read it and enjoy it, so I'm really excited to get into this one. I just need to read more nonfiction this year in general. And last but not least, for a buddy read, of course, I will be reading Rotten Tommy by David Sodergren. This is our group read for Ominous October, so if you are still struggling to find a buddy read for the readathon, go ahead and pick this one up. It's on Kindle Unlimited. David Sodergren is great. You will love it. And then we'll have a live show, I believe on October 20th, where we're going to discuss it, everybody that's read it. So I'm really looking forward to that. But that is my official TBR for Ominous October. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the first 3 days reading vlog. So we just officially got power back after losing it from Hurricane Milton. So I'm very happy about that. But I'm here to finally give you guys my first book update. I have started this off with All Hallows by Christopher Golden. This is one that I was really excited for. It's been on my TBR for a while, but I was just waiting for October to read it because, like, how can I not read a book called All Hallows in October, right? So I am, let's see, a page 137, which is not quite halfway, but almost halfway. We're approaching that halfway mark, and I will say that not a lot has really happened so far. Like, most of this story has been like the buildup of the characters and the setting and really building that atmosphere, and I will say, like, the atmosphere is great, and this is one thing that I've said about Christopher Golden's writing in the past, is that it's very descriptive, and it really does a good job of like setting the scene and setting the tone of the story. Like, this is definitely giving October, it's giving Halloween vibes, and it's just really fun so far in that aspect. But like the actual like plot, I feel like not a lot of developments have been made yet. So this is in 1984. It is Halloween night, and we are following a couple different people on this street that is called Parmenter Road, I think. And there's a lot of dysfunctional families and dysfunctional people and unlikable characters, but that's kind of the point. Like, all of these people are flawed and have a lot of things going on. But amidst all of this chaos, these strange children show up that nobody really recognizes, and it's a pretty like tight-knit community where like everybody knows their neighbors and knows who lives there. So it's a little bit strange that there are children running around without parental supervision, and nobody seems to know who these kids are, and they just look very out of place, and they are speaking of some strange things. All of these children seem to be frightened by something that they describe as the Cunning Man, and there's a lot of talk about the cunning man following them and finding them and wanting to take them, and these people are hiding from them. So it's definitely very weird. Like, if you are a fan of creepy children when it comes to horror, this is definitely fitting that trope very, very well. Other than that, I honestly don't have much to say about it because, like I said, like, we're really getting a lot of build up and getting to know these characters very, very deeply, and the way that they function with and without each other. And yeah, there's a lot of unlikable characters in here, and it's very hard. It's tough things that are talked about at times. Honestly, yeah, I really don't have a lot to say. I just wanted to stop in and do an update because I am like almost 140 pages into the book, so I thought I should say something about it. But we're really just getting that build up right now. So hopefully, as we're approaching the halfway mark, things will start to pick up and the scare factor will pick up. But I definitely think this is giving off the perfect Halloween vibes, and I'm very, very glad that I picked it for this readathon. Technically my boyfriend picked it, but I went with it. So I'm really, really glad, and I'm really glad that I'm finally getting to read this. That's all I have to say for right now. I will see you guys once I'm a little bit more into the book. Maybe I won't see you until I finish it. But either way, I'll probably see you tomorrow because it's getting a little bit late. Hello, welcome back to day 2 of the readathon. I did work today, so not too many exciting things happened. My boyfriend's peeling an onion, but I do have a few exciting things. So, first of all Hallows, I'm still reading. Have not finished it yet, want to finish it tonight. I've got like 125 pages left. I'm on page 200. I am liking it. I still feel like it's very, very slow moving, but I like the, let me see what the synopsis says. Okay, the cunning man, and I don't want to give too much away about him, but I do like the idea of the cunning man and what he is. Anyways, I wanted to do a little Aardvark unboxing. I actually canceled my Aardvark subscription, but you guys, I'm sure, have heard me talk about them before because I was subscribed to them, but I needed to save money. But they announced that it's their 2-year anniversary, and they had some books that I was really, really excited, books that I wanted to buy anyways. And then they also mentioned that they were going to have like a special anniversary bookmark. So, of course, I renewed my subscription. We'll probably cancel it again, but I wanted to get these books at least while they were there. So, what should we start with? Let's start with the books, and then we'll look at the bookmark. So, of course, I had to get Where I End by Sophie White. I remember hearing about this so long ago and putting it like on my Amazon wish list and adding it to my TBR, but then it like, I don't know if that edition like went out of print and then it was republished, so I don't know if it was like an indie publishing and then Sophie White got like a deal with a publisher. I don't really know how that all works, but I'm really, really excited to read this one. I've heard some things, and I do have a specific video that I would love to read this in, probably next year. But I just love Aardvark. Like, their hardbacks are such good quality, and the spine is always gorgeous. So that's this one. Really can't wait to read it. Was so stoked to see that it was a pick for October. And then this was actually last month's pick, but of course I had to get it. So Thirsty by Rachel Harrison, which is on my October TBR. I will be reading it this month. I just love Rachel Harrison, and she has the perfect like cozy horror reads for fall. And this one's about vampires, so of course I'm going to read it. Here is the book with the dust jacket off, and the spine, once again, gorgeous. And there's a little bat and a little moon. That is so cute. Now, we get our special little bookmark. So this is a holographic bookmark, and this is like a sturdy one too, because usually they send them in the monthly box, but they're just paper. She's gorgeous. But then we get to peel back the film. Okay, we're ready. We're ready. I don't know if this really even looks like anything on camera. Wow. It's so like shimmery. It's like iridescent. Hopefully that was satisfying. Oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. 2 years, fresh ears. We love that. Okay, so this will be my bookmark for my next read. Actually, speaking of next reads, I did start another book today on my Kindle. I started The Vile Thing We Created, which has been on my TBR for a really long time. This is fulfilling my prompt for being over 400 pages and being on my TBR for longer than a year. But I'm only like 15% of the way through right now, and I am really enjoying it. We have this couple, Lola. Let me see if I can remember their names without checking. I know her name is Lola. Oh, and Ian. That's his name. Okay, Ian and Lola. And I think they're like in their 30s. I don't think they ever explicitly stated their age. I think they're like 35. But basically, like, all of their friends have kids and they feel like very excluded. And so now they're like, well, maybe we need to take like the natural next step and have a child. And that's what they're going to do, but something's going to be wrong with the child, and I'm very excited for that part to come. There's been a little bit of like weirdness happening, but overall it's just like building up the story and the characters. Obviously, like I said, I'm only 15% of the way through, but I do like the character development so far, and I like seeing the two of these people in this couple and how they interact with each other. It's definitely building up the relationship. My last little update for right now, I got this just now at 7-Eleven. It is a Oreo Coca-Cola, and I remember seeing the Coca-Cola flavored Oreos at Walmart and being like, that sounds disgusting. I did not want to try those. But this one, I'm slightly intrigued, because I know Coke, when they had their like, I can't remember what it was called, their like space flavored one, I really like that one. I don't know if they still sell it. I never see it, but I do like the space flavored Coke. So why not try the Oreo one? Okay. It smells like just regular Coke, so let's go. That's weird. I don't know if it really tastes like an Oreo, like maybe like the Oreo cream, but it's like an aftertaste. Like, it just tastes like regular Coke, but then it has this weird aftertaste that if I didn't know that it was supposed to be Oreo, I don't think my brain would connect that that's what it is. It's not the worst thing in the world, but right now we are making a pizza because we finally have power back after Hurricane Milton, and we have no food except for pasta, which we've been eating, and I don't really want to eat pasta again, so we're making a pizza. We're gonna watch a scary movie. I'm going to read more of my book later, and I will see you guys when something else exciting happens. Hi, welcome back for my day 3 morning update. We're getting a little bit of a late start today. It's like 10:30. I slept in a little bit later than usual because I just needed some sleep. Like, I haven't gotten really good quality sleep since this storm. Like, the night before, I had anxiety, and then I couldn't sleep, and then the night of, I had anxiety, and then I was also at work, and I was sleeping on an air mattress, which is not the most comfortable, and then the night after, I came home, and the power was out, and it was really hot, and it was just really hard to sleep. So I finally got some good quality sleep. I slept like 10 hours, which I really needed, and I pretty much passed out last night, like right after our movie finished, and I was dying during the movie. Speaking of, we watched Maxine because I haven't seen it yet, and my review is, I think I give it 3 stars. I feel like the other 2 are definitely better. I liked the setting of the movie. I liked that it was like 1985 and they're in Hollywood and there's like the satanic panic and the aesthetic of it being the 80s and all that, but other than that, like, it was just kind of okay. I feel like there wasn't enough murder, but like, I get it because it completes her story and she's like a star, you know, she made it, but I just feel like I like the other 2 better, and I think out of the trilogy, Pearl is probably my favorite, but I do need to rewatch X because I don't know if like Pearl actually is my favorite, or I just think that because I've seen it the most. let me know your thoughts on Maxine and your thoughts on that whole trilogy if you guys are a fan. Anyways, though, like I said, I pretty much fell asleep like right after that, so I actually didn't read any more last night. I didn't finish All Hallows. We are now on day 3 and not a single book has been completed for my own readathon. It's just been crazy. But today, really the only thing that we're going to do is we're going to try to see if we can get groceries. I know there are some grocery stores open, but a lot of places are just now reopening from losing power, so I don't know how much stuff they'll really have, but we do need groceries because we have nothing in our fridge because we avoided buying refrigerated items because we knew we were going to lose power, and then we lost power for like a couple of days, so anything that was in there is no longer good. So we need to get groceries. And then I also want to pick up some stuff for baking because I had this idea in my head since before, like when I was creating the readathon, because one of the prompts is to read with a fall treat, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's gonna be so fun. I'm going to find something to bake and I'm going to do it on video and it'll just be really fun for the vlog. So I still want to do that. If I can get my hands on some baking items today, then that is what we're going to be doing today, and reading and, you know, just getting our lives back together a little bit. Also, sort of a little book update for the readathon. In my like official readathon TBR, I chose for my horror novella Hot Singles in Your Area by Jordan Shively, however you want to pronounce it, I don't know. And that was an arc that I have. It comes out next month on my birthday, and I was like, that's perfect because then I can read it this month and I have plenty of time to review it before the publishing date. But I went to start it yesterday and it wasn't on my Kindle, which I was like, that's weird. So I went to NetGalley and it's archived on NetGalley, which means I can no longer download it. But it's really strange because I always, anytime I get approved for anything on NetGalley, I always send it to my Kindle like the second I get approved, just because I never want something like this to happen where it gets archived and I can't read it and review it. And it says on NetGalley that I sent it, like I downloaded it in June and then it got archived in July, and I know it's been on my Kindle, so I don't know like why it just like disappeared and I just didn't notice. I don't know how that all happened. So I had to submit to NetGalley and say like, I can't review this book because I no longer have it, and I don't know what the heck happened because it was on my Kindle. And then I go to read it and it's not there. So in place of that one, I will be reading for my horror novella is To Be Devoured by Sarah Tantlinger. This one I've wanted to read for a really, really long time. It's also on my 2024 TBR, and it is shorter. It's like 92 or like just 90 pages, so I think that'll be good. Anyways, we're gonna do some stuff. I'm gonna do some reading. Hopefully we can finish at least one book today. I think my goal is to finish 2 books. So I want to finish All Hallows and then finish something else, whether that's To Be Devoured or The Vile Thing We Created, or if I start something else and finish that. I just want to get some reading done because, like I said, we're on day 3 and I really, really need to get some of that done. Hello, it is later in the afternoon now. We have done all of our things that we were going to do today. We were able to find groceries and I was able to find what I needed for baking. It was definitely hectic because it was just the Walmart that was open, so everybody was there. I got a little pumpkin. It's just kind of, I don't even know if you really would call this a tradition, but like ever since I was probably like 16 or 17, I've always just made it a thing that I get a little tiny pumpkin every single October, November-ish this time of year. So I got my little one today. I also got some cute little Halloween nails. I don't know if you can even see that. Wow, that glare is like not good. Can we focus it? Look, they're like little ghosties and little bats, and they glow in the dark. So I'm going to put these on later, but I figured if I'm going to be baking, I should probably wait until after because I know these probably are not very sturdy. I literally haven't used like this type of like press-on nails since I was like in middle school. I think I had like little One Direction nails. I was a Nile girl, so I had little One Direction Nile press-on nails that I remember wearing when I was like 13, and I think that's the last time that I've ever done press-on nails. So I'm very excited for these, and like I said, they glow in the dark, which is, it just sounds fun to me. I also have these little like window things that I put up for Halloween, and I pulled them out before the hurricane, but then I didn't end up putting them up because, you know, had a lot of other things going on, so I want to put those up today. But now, for what you're actually here for, I did finish All Hallows. I don't know what I want to give it. I'm thinking like 3.5 stars. I really wanted to love this more than I did. Not that I hated it or anything, like it was an enjoyable read, but I just wish that there was like a little bit more to it. It was fun in a lot of ways. It was definitely like a good Halloween spooky season read. It really sets the vibe and the tone for that, and then being in the 80s is really fun. Creepy children, like I said, was really fun, and then this like creature type of thing with the Cunning Man was also really enjoyable, and these very well fleshed out characters. There was magic, there was a lot of like brutal killings, which I liked, but I just wish that there was a little bit more history to it, like more time building up like and explaining what the Cunning Man is, and then some other elements that came into play later. I just wish we got more information about really what those things are, how they came to be, what the goal is. And then I also wish that because we are following different perspectives of people in this neighborhood that are interacting with these children, but I kind of wish we got some perspectives, even like a little prologue from the children themselves and the world that they were in where they interact with the Cunning Man. I'm trying not to give too much away, but like I wish we got to see like what things were like for them before they came to this neighborhood on Halloween night, and just more of like, I don't know, yeah, like that world and explanations of the magic and of the creatures. I just wish that there was more of that. But as a whole, like, it wasn't bad. I don't think there was like anything necessarily wrong with what was here. I just wish that there was a little bit more to it, and I think that would have made me enjoy it even more. But I will stand by that I do still enjoy Christopher Golden and his writing, and I'll definitely read more from him in the future. I'm just waiting for one of his books to really like blow me away, because I think the 3 books from him that I've read, 2 were 3.5 stars, and then 1 I gave 4 stars. And so I'm just waiting for something from him that I really, really, really love, and I thought that this would be it, but it wasn't. So yay, we completed 1 book during the readathon. I think next I'm going to start To Be Devoured on my Kindle, and like I said, that's a shorter one, so hopefully I can get through that one pretty quickly, and then I will do my baking at some point today. I don't really know. I'm just kind of hanging out and trying to relax after all of the craziness. I'm here with my boyfriend. I baked snickerdoodles, so this fulfills my prompt to read with the fall treat. I wanted to do pumpkin snickerdoodles, but my boyfriend is a pumpkin hater, so I made a batch of regular snickerdoodles for him. He is here to taste test those with me. I don't know if they're cooled all the way, but we're a little impatient. I've also never made snickerdoodles before, and I had my mind set on doing this, and I didn't realize that snickerdoodles are like a high maintenance cookie, and they require a lot of like special things. And then I had to walk to 7-Eleven in the middle of baking because I ran out of sugar, so now we're here. Okay, here's my pumpkin snickerdoodle. Do you want to show yours? I don't know if this is like baked properly, and it also broke, but okay, let's go. I'm trying to like snickerdoodle. Mine tastes very pumpkin-y. Okay, let me try one of the regular ones. Tastes good. I also wanted to do a book update. I am reading To Be Devoured. I'm like almost 50% of the way through. Obviously, this has been a very quick read. I am liking it so far. I really like the writing. Like, there's a lot of quotes that I've highlighted just because I like the way that it's written. It's gross. It's very intriguing. It's very captivating, and I'm really, really curious to see where it goes. And I also like, one thing that's definitely standing out to me is the amount of like character development and background that we're getting into our main character, even though this is such a short book. I know sometimes like in novellas, I feel like you can feel a little bit disconnected from the characters because you don't have as much time to really get to know them. But I think that is one thing that is definitely done very well about this one. Even though it's a short book, I do feel connected to the characters, and I feel like I know a lot of things about them, and I'm really, really curious to see where it goes. I don't know if I told you guys the plot. I know I have in other videos, but I don't think I have for this vlog yet. Basically, we're following this woman who has a lot of trauma in her past and her relationship with her girlfriend, and then basically one day she watches like these vultures that live by her house, and she just becomes obsessed with the idea of tasting dead flesh as she watches these birds. So we are slowly building up to this point where clearly she's going to do that, and maybe something beyond that. I don't know. I like how the story is building right now, even though it's kind of nasty at points. I'm really enjoying it, so I can't wait to keep reading this one and finish this with my little pumpkin snickerdoodle cookies. But right now we're going to watch another movie because we need to watch all the movies for spooky season. So we are going to watch The Platform 2, which just came out, and I remember really liking the first one, so I'm very curious to see what happens in the second one, if it does anything different or if it's just the same plot with different people. We'll see. We are now at the end of day 3. I have finished my book. Oh my gosh, I love this. I am giving it 5 stars. Also, I put my nails on. I totally forgot to say that. Okay, let's get a nail shot real quick. It took forever to focus, but you can see there's little ghosties and little bats, and I can't really get it on camera, but they do glow in the dark. They are slightly too big because I got the medium-sized ones, and I guess I should have just got small, but I didn't want to get the small ones, and they were like child size, and then they didn't fit. I like them though. I think they're super cute. I haven't had like even acrylic nails since like for the last 2 years. So I'm still adjusting right now to like the feeling of something being on top of my nail, and then having to use like the pads of your fingers and like your knuckles to do things instead of just your fingertips. Anyways, so let's do another movie review session. The Platform 2, I'm giving 1 star. We only got 45 minutes in before we just decided we couldn't do it. It was just so bad, and I just wish it didn't exist. Like, it was one of those sequels where it was the same plot of the first movie, but a little bit more, and now like people have created like this religion around the situation that they're in, which if you've seen the first movie, like, you know like what happens. So it's just that, but it's like more intense, and people are trying to like have rules around it, and I just like, it was really dumb. Nothing that was happening really made any sense. So we put a stop to that one, and then we ended up just watching The Haunting in Connecticut, which we've both seen before, but it was better than watching the other one that was not good. But anyway, back to the book. I'm giving this 5 stars. I really, really loved it. I think the writing was absolutely beautiful. I was highlighting so many things that I would share with you, but I don't know if they would make sense without any context, and then I also don't want to spoil anything because it is such a short book. But I also think this is like the perfect example of how to really pull off a horror novella very, very well, where you feel connected to the characters, you feel like they're very well crafted, but then you're also horrified and getting all of these horror elements, and then I think the ending wraps up very, very well. I think just every component of this worked really, really good for the story. It was nasty. Definitely nasty at points, but I liked it because of like how dark it was. And I don't mean that like, obviously it's dark because like our main character is like wanting to eat dead flesh, but there's also like this heavy cloud of depression that follows our character around, and then we are following her through this as she is coming to a point where she can no longer trust herself, and it's definitely a descent into madness and watching herself become something that she does not recognize, but not having the ability to stop it. And I think that it's just a very, very well crafted story, and it's definitely something that is going to stay in my brain for a while to come. I really, really like this one. If you haven't read it yet, definitely take this as your sign to pick it up because I thought it was just absolutely fantastic. Also, you guys saw when I was baking, I started listening to the audiobook for Stolen Tongues, which is a reread for me, and it's not necessarily part of my readathon TBR, but I figured since like I started it during the readathon and I am reading it during the readathon, I might as well tell you guys about it. So this is a favorite horror book of mine, and it was one that I remember genuinely spooking me out when I read it for the first time. But I also think I had like the perfect atmosphere when I read it for the first time that it allowed me to get creeped out like that. But I figured because it's spooky that listening to the audiobook would be like even creepier, especially if like I have both my headphones in and I can't hear anything else around me. But I don't know that it's really that much creepier on audio. Honestly, I really don't like the narrator, especially the way that he does like the female voice. It's just like so, I don't know, takes me out of it. I just don't really like his narration, unfortunately, but I am going to continue my reread of that. Hopefully it gets better for me. I don't know, I just feel like it's not as creepy as I remember it being when I read it before, but also, once again, like, I had a different atmosphere at that point, and then also I feel like because I was listening to it while I was doing other things, I don't think like I had the mood set right to really tune in and get creeped out by everything. Plus, I know like the story and I know what happens at the end, so like maybe that's why I'm like not so freaked out this time. One last thing before I go, let's do a bingo board update. I'm just getting it on my phone. So this is where my bingo board is for the readathon right now. So far, I have read a book that takes place on or around Halloween. That was All Hallows. I read With a Fall Treat, which was my pumpkin snickerdoodles. I read a horror novella, which was To Be Devoured. From a new to you author, also was To Be Devoured, Sarah Tantlinger, I've never read from before. And then Have a Friend Pick Your Next Read was my boyfriend picking All Hallows for me, which I know you guys didn't see in this vlog, but that will be a different vlog where he picks like 5 or 6 books for me to read. And it just so happened that he was picking a book for me on the first day of the readathon, and it ended up being All Hallows, so I was able to cross off 2 things with that. So that's where we're at right now. There will be a second vlog for the rest of the readathon where I will go through and I will black out my bingo board, so wish me luck. Let me know how your readathon reading is going right now, and I will see you guys in the next vlog.